liver fluke is a serious problem. A total waste of time. I made an even bigger mistake. The casualty started. It actually kills sheep.
It's always handy.
Advanced dry stock group. Now, something a bit different today. I have a busload of students coming for a bit of a farm tour. I have sheep down at the neighbours. I want to get them up here so I can give the students a look at some of the sheep in the field beside me so we can walk out and have a look at them. Not much point having a shed and no sheep. So we're going to try and get this batch home. Not sure if you can see them. My shed is there. Batch of sheep here. These are the ones that are on the neighbour. So I'm just going to run them up the lane and we'll have them at home for the students to have a look at them, I suppose. So we'll see if we can get them up here. Come on. Come on. Away. 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 Lie down. Lie down. Always a few to get stuck behind the gate. Good dog. Good dog. That'll do. That'll do. Now, we'll try and get these up. No one's standing on the lane. We'll hope for the best. Come by. Come by. Shed here. Swing around. Few sheep here. Something for the students to look at. So the next job is get something done in the shed. Now, so a little bit of a tidy up in the shed. It's not spotless, but look, it's a working farm. It's as clean as I can get it in the time allowed. About 35 students, I think, coming today from the local agricultural college to have a look at a working dry stock farm. So I'm quite happy to have them here and give them a look around. Proper sheep school today. Don't know what to expect. I'm not sure what experience to have with sheep, so we'll kind of gauge it. Not fully sure what I'm going to talk about, but sure, we'll wing it. Wouldn't say I'm good at talking about sheep, but I definitely like it, as most of you are well aware. So anyway, have to go and get myself tidied up, get ready. About 20 minutes, gonna grab a bit to eat. Catch up with you in a bit. Now, talk over. Been talking here for an hour and a half. Tiring stuff, but enjoyable all the same. Plenty of sheep farmers in it. Dry stock, advanced dry stock group from Ballyhaise, the agricultural college, which is only down the road. I was there 22 years ago. I think I done my certificate in farming in Ballyhaise, so it's nice to have some students back from the college. I think they enjoyed it. We done a bit of a run through of my system and the shed here and how I manage and winter grazing and all the rest. Couldn't really do much videoing during it, which hopefully you can understand, but here's a photo of the group, all young students. It was good fun, I actually enjoyed it. So I kind of was scratching my head bringing my sheep up. Here they are down here. I'll just give you a look at them. So I have them on the field here beside the shed. I was going to run them back down to the bit of grazing that they're on, but I'm actually going to keep them there. I'm going to fluke dose them tomorrow. So I'll catch up with you in the morning. We'll be fluke dosing these ladies. We'll see you then. So this is the following day. We're just going to do a bit of a setup here. Simple setup. We still have the race set up since the last day. So we still have that all put together and we have the ewe lambs to dose. So I'm not going to take it all apart just to get the extra couple of gates and the hassle of backing in here to set up. So we're going to do a simple job. We're just going to use two panels, those two extra panels that clip onto the side of the race. And we're going to use the scales as well. And we'll only have, are they 8 foot? They're actually 10-foot sections. So we'll have a 10-foot race basically. And we'll get 3 sheep done at a time and we'll not be that long doing them. So what's in the shed? Some of these money makers are still here behind me. Actually need a bed. We're still economising on straw. The stock rams are here. They're gathering up here. I have a little field just down the lane. We might put them out later. They've been in the shed now since we've kind of pulled them out of away from the ewes, but they're ready. They can go back out again. They're fine now. We've one ewe here. She actually came in from the field. She had a very sore foot. She had a bit of scald in between her foot and a bit of blue spray actually fixed her, but she was very, very sore on the foot. So got her sorted. I'm going to mix her back in with this other batch. So just get the race set up here. That's the first job we'll do. And the ewes are down here. They're still down in this field down here. You see them through the trees there. Get a race set up first and we get the ewes in then. This is our first day back after the Christmas. We're well rested.
Well rested, well fed. We're like butcher's dogs.
Yeah.
As fit as a butcher's dog.
Gonna be a job to get going now, but this fluke dosing has to be done. We're set up here. We have our race ready to roll. Simple race, two 10-foot panels, scales at the front. The scales is just kind of acting as a front gate. I don't have a front gate, so this is the gate of the mobile race. So next job is go and get these ewes in. These boys here behind me are the remainder of the ram lambs for the factory. That's another wee job. We'll have to weigh them and see what's fit to go to the factory now. It's been a couple of weeks since them last ones went. There's bound to be more fit to go. They've done well. There's a couple of good lambs in it there. They're doing very well, so we will pick through them another day, but that's a job for another day. Right, we'll make a bust, Robbie.
Make a bust.
Away, away. So the last thing I want to do is eat this field, because these are what I call my nursery fields. They're right beside the shed here, and I like good grass on these because this is the first fields that the ewes and lambs go out onto, and then I let them on up through into the other fields. Good shelter on these fields as well. It's ideal for ewes and lambs. Come on, bring them on, pups. The weather has been shocking, absolutely shocking. Ground is a mess. They've been on fairly good grass, but you will have seen it in some of the videos. The ground conditions are shocking. But the ewes are okay. Look, I know it looks like tough going for the sheep, but they're well fit for it. It's like waterproof jackets on them. They're doing a good thrive. We'll keep them out as long as I can. We'll hope for good weather. Talk of colder weather coming in January. We'll hope for the best. Come on, Pops. Bring them on. Come on. So the biggest problem this time of year is feet. Not that I've had much trouble, but I definitely see a couple hopping. If we can find them in the shed, we'll have a look at them and see what's going on. Come on. There's a lady there, sore foot. See the front foot up off the ground. Definitely going to need some treatment of some description. Come on. Come on, Pops. Put them on. One lady out here, I think she went under the gate because there is a pretty good fence along here, but the gate's hung a little bit higher on this side because it's on a hill. Away, Pops. One lady just not cooperating here, but we'll get her in. So this has got into a serious mess. I've been in out of here with the digger to go and get bales for the lambs for the bedding. It's a mess. Have to get a load of gravel for that. Gonna have to get a load up. I don't know what. Anyone any advice on what gravel you'd use for that? I think I used like dust, quarry dust, real fine stuff. It was actually good, no feet damage, but it just gets into a mess in no time. So what gravel would you recommend? Let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear your advice. I see some yards with a kind of a rounder stone in it, type of a drainage stone. Let me know what you use yourself at home. It'd be great to hear from you. Here, away, 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 away. Bring her on, Pops. Here, bring her on, bring her on, bring her on, Pops. Lovely job. Not a bad wee dog. Even though I gave out about her when we were getting them yo lambs through the mucky gap, she still does a lot of work. So this is back at my home place, back in the shed. Easier to leave the whole mobile race still all packed together rather than unpacking it. I really need a system, permanent system here at the home place, because there seems to be a lot of work. And this time of year, what's happening is I'm packing up the mobile race to bring it off to jobs. And then when I want to do a job here at the home place, I've no race set up because it's gone to another place or it's sitting packed up in the yard. So a permanent system, have to do something with that in the near future. Right, we'll make a start. We're back on this. It's nitroxanil or Trodax. It's a generic version of it. That's it there for anyone that's interested. So they're getting 3 millilitres each. It's a slightly higher dose rate than Trodax. It's just under the skin. Actually in good condition. Nice bit of flesh on them. They've done well. You'd know they've been on good grass down on that farm. So even though the conditions have been tough, they've done well. Okay. Go on. Go on. Shh, 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 shh. No, 3 is that. Yep, 3 is that. So we're just doing 3 at a time. We probably could pack 4 into it, but the extra work it takes to put that 4th one in, it's not worth it. So we'll make do with 3. Now you'll see in the time lapse there, we are rattling through these, making good speed. We have a nice batch of them done here. We probably haven't that many left out there, Robbie. We're over halfway, are we?
Oh, you're over half.
So I'm not sure if this was the exact sheep we chatted about before. It was probably in that parasites video where the sheep was losing the hair off her face. Now this isn't her, but there was one of the sheep we had chatted about that was old. I think she was 6 years old. Her mouth was good. Should I colour? I'm not sure if that's her, but here is another example of one. She is an agey lady, but if you look at her, she's quite thin. Quite thin. Well, she's not actually too bad, but she doesn't look great. You'd know age is going against her. Her mouth is still actually quite good. I'll give you a look at that if I can. So her mouth actually isn't bad. A little bit gappy in the teeth, but look, they're on fairly good grass. I wouldn't be that worried about that, but age is definitely going against her. Now I'm not sure what should I do with her. Should she come into the shed for a little bit of TLC, or do I run her on? I'll maybe run her on till scanning time and we'll see what's in her. That's the next job. It'll be scanning in another 2 or 3 weeks. You have to ring Porrick and get that sorted out, get that booked. But that'll be probably the next job with these sheep, apart from keeping grass in front of them and wires up and all the rest. But these tin ladies, not too many of them, but this is definitely one that I would be, would say, a little concerned about. So anyway, we'll keep going. All right. Now we're getting on pretty well. So you'll see me this time of year actually doing a lot of the main work with the ewes is fluke treatment. And the reason for that is my particular ground in this area. You'll see it's quite muddy. There's always a bit of muck and mud, and these milder winters, liver fluke is a serious problem in sheep. And when I was getting going at sheep, I think it's 9 years ago now, I didn't fully understand liver fluke. It's quite a tricky one to get your head around. I had been treating them with what I thought was flukicide. So I was using tramadol. I bought in my local agri store and they said, yeah, that's for liver fluke. I didn't really think that much about it. Dosed my ewes with that a couple of times and coming to lambing, the casualty started. Basically, I was dosing them with a treatment for adult fluke, which only covers them from about 10 weeks onwards. So the harm was done, and I started to lose yolks with liver fluke. And then I made an even bigger mistake of going in. Somebody had mentioned that Trodax or this nitroxanil is probably the best fluke dose, which I would say it probably is. The problem with it is it's so good. If you have a major infestation of liver fluke and you go in with nitroxanil and it wipes them out, it actually kills sheep, and it's the dying liver fluke that poisons them. It's a type of sepsis that they get, so that's why I had so many dead yolks in that thumbnail. It just wiped out, I think there was 7 or 8 yolks in that. It just killed them from face. Now once they died and the rest of them got over it, that was the end of my liver fluke problems. But it's one area that I learned quite fast. As Cammy in the sheep game says, you win or you learn. And in that instant, I learned. It was an expensive mistake, but definitely liver fluke is an issue. The other one maybe to mention as well is fecal egg sampling. For liver fluke, a total waste of time. It just doesn't work for liver fluke. And I find if you take a dung sample, there's a good chance you won't show up any eggs for liver fluke. And if you make the assumption then you have no fluke, the problem is you probably have liver fluke. If you're in a fluky area, now it just depends on your ground and the time of year. You probably have liver fluke, and if you have the younger fluke, less than 12 weeks old, they haven't laid any eggs, so you won't find them in a fecal egg sample. So the other area that's worth probably investigating is a dead sheep. If you have a dead sheep, get her into your vet. Most vets, will definitely here in Ireland, will open up a sheep for you and have a look at the liver. Simple enough job. Would I take it on myself? I don't think I'm supposed to. I'd rather just get the vet to do it because he could find something else as well. It's quite easy. It's kind of a post-mortem. Just before you bring her to the knackery, or the knackery truck comes from her, get her opened up, have a look at the liver. It's always good to investigate a dead sheep to see what the fluke is like in your yolks. So if your vet's too busy to do the post-mortem, in Ireland here we have a service here. We have a laboratory called the Regional Veterinary Laboratory, where they'll take in a fallen animal or a casualty and they'll do a post-mortem and they'll basically tell you what's wrong with it. So it's a very, very useful service. If you have many casualties or a couple of continuous casualties, it's a great way of actually finding out what your problem is. There's a bit of a touch on liver fluke and the problems that can arise from it. We'll keep going. If you're wondering where I'm dosing them, I'll give you a look now. I'll get my cameraman here. Robbie will maybe hold the camera for me. I'll give you a look here. So it's a subcutaneous injection, which basically means under the skin, and that can be under the skin anywhere. So I tend to go for the easiest option. Now I might have showed you this before with the Heptavac P, but for anyone that hasn't seen it, I usually go somewhere between the shoulder and the hip and somewhere off the backbone. You want to keep away from the backbone, so I just part the wool and just pull the skin out by the wool here at the back and just in with the needle. And if the sheep makes a lunge forward, you're not going to get jagged in the hand. So simple as that. That's where I'm injecting them for anybody that's interested. Oh aye, and a subcutaneous needle or a needle for under the skin in sheep, 16mm needle. Sometimes when you go into the vets, the staff will fire you out 25mm needles or 1-inch needles. They're too long for sheep. Under the skin in sheep, they're too long. So 16mm or a 5/8 needle is the one I use for this job. Into the muscle, I always use a 25mm or 1-inch needle if I'm injecting into the muscle. So Robbie's just loading from the other shed, which you might be able to see from there. That's the shed with the open front there. So he's just bringing them in the sliding door into this pen. And it's a simple setup with not many gates. We're just able to use the kind of a passageway then as a kind of a collecting pen to keep the race full. Is that it, Robbie? That's it. All in, lovely. So we're nearly there. We've only a handful left. We'll keep going. last fill done. The next job is let these out in the lane and we're going to run them back down onto this bit of grass. We'll get to it. So we were going that well, we flew through them. It's all done. Forgot to dig out the ram. Just going to dig out the stock ram now because these ewes will be going away from the house next. The next move will be a good bit away, and look, anything that's not tipped at this stage isn't going to go in lamb. So going to take them out. I put them in with the other rams, and it's better to keep an eye on them near home for the winter, or the rest of the winter anyway. We'll keep them a little bit closer to home. So ram is pulled out, gate open, just let them down. Robbie's going on in front here. We'll let them back out. They're going back down to the bit of ground they were on before. Might get another week out of it. The farmer did say he wanted me gone for Christmas. It's now the 27th, 28th of December. So we've overstayed our welcome, but I don't think he minds too much because there's still quite a fleece of grass on it. It was a nice run of ground. So we'll hold them there until we get the call to say take them off. It's not hard to run them back up again. It's only 100, 200 yards down the lane, so it's not hard to run them back up. But I think the secret in this game, winter grazing, is you have to have manners. If the farmer says they need to go, you need to get them off, or you won't be back next year. So I try, I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I try as good as I can to be as mannerly as I can. Try and have sheep that are not annoying anybody, and try and take them off as soon as the farmer says you need to go. So look, we'll hope for the best. There was one year I actually had a fall of snow and I couldn't get the sheep moved, and there was about 4, 5, 6 inches of snow and a field just went into a mess, and the farmer was very annoyed about it. But the following spring he said he made the best silage he ever made. It was lovely green field of grass that came, and he cut it in the middle of May, and he said it was the best quality stuff he ever made. So interesting one for you. Well, are you happy, Robbie?
Cute as a shit house rat, aren't they?
They know where they're going, all right. So you'll see just across here, that's one of the fields they've run off as well. Still a bit of grass on that, still a bit of picking, so we'll hope we get a bit longer out of it. Right, we've the gate tied up here. It's a bit of a makeshift gate. Hopefully that'll hold them in. This little 3-corner field in here, it's a small little field, nice fleece of grass on it. Gonna get the 6 stock rams down to that. Not sure if we do that this evening because we're just adding that other ram we took out in with them. Might leave them tightened up. We've seen what happened in that last video where the rams started fighting, so might just leave them settled in the shed, but that's where they'll be going. Robbie, we've a good day's work done. Well, it wasn't really a day's work, was it? It was a handy.
No, it was handy. It's always handy.
Yeah.
It's always handy when it works right.
Yeah, something just to ease us back in now after the Christmas, but we have our ewes. All the ewes now have been dosed for Fluke. Actually, that reminds me, we have to do them rams as well. We do them rams that are in the shed, and that's everything covered. But that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Happy New Year.